Hello there, thanks for joining us on this week's Sweet Spot. It's Bruce Millington and Steve Palmer bringing you previews of two fantastic previews. There are some big names in action this week. Rahm, Hovland, McIlroy, Cantlay and Morikawa, to name but five. So, very high-class week as the golf season hots up. Before we look ahead, though, to the Abu Dhabi HSBC Championship and the Amex, we'll have a look back on last week. And before we do that, I'll greet Steve. Hello, Steve. How are you?
Hiya, Bruce. I'm okay. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. What's been the highlight of the last 7 days since we last convened?
Oh, well, it wouldn't have anything to do with golf, that's for sure. I mean, last week put my newfound serenity to the test. We were talking about being more serene this year, weren't we? But I think there's one thing I just still can't get my head around is when players I've almost backed win the tournament. And that was the case last week in the Sony Open. That's the ultimate test for me. And rather than moan about it now, I'm not going to moan this year about anything because that just brings you down. It brings everyone down. I just want to take this opportunity to highlight that others to note section that we often mention because it can be useful for punters who want more selections than we provide. And in that others to note section, in the racingpost.com previews on Tuesdays and in the Racing Post newspaper on Wednesdays, there's a few extra players that narrowly failed to make the staking plan. Last week, we had Hideki Matsuyama, Kevin Kisner and Seamus Power in there for the Sony Open. So you had first, third and third. So, yeah, punters who like loads of selections, have a little delve into that, and then you can perhaps enhance your book. So, yeah, I wasn't serene after the Sony Open, I'll be honest with you, but I quickly got over it. I had a nice, healthy bet on Matsuyama going into the final round at 9-4, which helped that. And I'm feeling really, really excited about this week because we've got 3 tournaments.
Oh, we've got 3, have we? Blimey, you've thrown an extra one in. What's the third one? I haven't got that.
I think I forewarned you about the Singapore Open potential.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
The bookmakers haven't really got as enthusiastic about that as me. We've only got one firm out at the moment. But, later in the day, we'll get a few more firms out.
We'll have a look at that. But it's good to hear that the quest for a calmer Palmer seems to be working. And the thing with that is you're always going to get that, Steve. You're always going to get someone who was just knocked off the list at the last minute. You just have to accept it, don't you? It's one of those things.
It's one of those things. And the Hawaii swing are just, such a strange one, really. I mean, Cameron Smith was the best driver at the Century Tournament Champions. Hideki Matsuyama was the best putter at the Sony Open. I mean, that's like 1,000,000 to 1 chance. Yeah, they're excelling in those departments. So we've had a queer old Hawaii swing, but they were both gettable. Yeah, they're both gettable. I think some punters would have had a good start to the year. I mean, the Australian Pga Championship. Do you want to briefly touch on that?
Well, let's do that, yeah, because, I mean, I looked at that. I mean, is a star born here with this Jed Morgan? It was his 4th tournament. He shot 22 under to win by 11 shots, and I think he's only a nipper, isn't he? I mean, he must be young because in his interview he said, "This feels so sick, man." I mean, I certainly don't remember Arnold Palmer describing the victory as feeling sick. So, yeah, I mean, he's obviously not very old, is he?
He's only 22, yeah, and he was 100 to 1 last week. And on the face of it, he deserved to be 100 to 1 because his world amateur ranking just before he turned pro was 129. Going into last week, he was ranked 1,522 in the world rankings. He'd had no top 30 finishes since October 2020. But, and it's a big but, there are other reasons why you could fancy the pants off him. He's been a Royal Queensland member for 5 years. He won the 2020 Australian Amateur Championship at the track, and his brother is a greenkeeper at the course. So, I mean, we were getting all excited last week about our man Elvis Schmidt. He finished 12th, did all right, had a bad Friday because he had the course designer on his bag. But having the greenkeeper as your brother is quite a useful tool as well. I mean, you and me have this long disagreement for many years over the advantage of playing your home track. Jed Morgan last week showed how advantageous it can be for me. I mean, he was ultra comfortable there and won by 11 shots.
But, I mean, seriously, winning by 11, minus 22 compared to next best of minus 11, you've got to have something in your locker to do that. I mean, presumably, he's one to keep an eye on, isn't he?
Yes. Won the Aussie Amateur, and he admitted he felt really nervous throughout that. He couldn't sleep at night. He was a jitterbug. I mean, what's he going to be like now? He's a bit calmer now. He's won a trophy. So, winning by 11 when you're a bag of nerves. Impressive stuff.
Okay, so we'll keep an eye on him. But over in Hawaii, as you say, the Sony Open, I mean, poor old Russell Henley, I think that's his 3rd collapse in about the last 18 months. He led by 5 with 9 shots to play, didn't he? And you wouldn't say necessarily crumbled like a very old wall, to quote the Bros lyric, but I mean he just gave a couple back and Hideki got it done, and then the playoff, Matsuyama. I mean that approach to the playoff hole, you know, to set up the eagle was just an absolute thing of beauty, wasn't it?
Yeah, tremendous cut 3-wood. I mean, yeah, Matsuyama's become a prolific champion again. You know, he went 2018, 2019 and 2020, didn't win in any of those years. Now he's winning titles prolifically again. As for Henley, I mean, I gave up on him after the Wyndham Championship. You remember he missed some tiddlers there when he had the win. He had the Wyndham.
Can you stop saying remember? Okay?
I'm sorry. Last August, I thought you could stretch to last August. He had the Wyndham at his mercy. Blew that, and I thought, I can't. You know, Russell Henley, when he first came onto the tour, was one of my favourites, and he won the Sony Open in spectacular style. I thought this player's going to, you know, as you accumulate the battle scars as time goes by, he's got so much self-doubt in his system. He's won over par for that back 9 on an easy course. Going at the 18th, he had a 1-shot lead, and he still couldn't get the job done. You know, he played the 18th terribly in regulation and in the playoff. He took a 3-wood for safety, shunted it into the sand on the right, did exactly the same thing in the playoff, made a real Horlicks of it in the playoff. So, yeah, Russell Henley, I'm afraid, has lost his bottle. I don't like to say that. He was spectacular on the front 9, but then when he saw the finish post, you know, it just went to pieces.
I woke up on Friday morning, Steve, with a real spring in my step, because do you remember I'd said I was going to back Kevin Na every week, and he led the field on 9 under after the first round. He was only 4-1. I'd backed him at a much bigger price, and I thought, hi, we're in here.
Yeah,
didn't really make any progress thereafter.
No, what a difference a day can make. Yeah, he was swinging lovely in round 1, wasn't he? And then he just woke up in round 2, just all over the show.
One of my favourite golf maxims is that it's very hard for a player to back up a spectacularly low round. The amount of times that someone shoots the lights out and then the next day you just oppose them in their match bet or their 3-ball, because they just can't. It's the sort of law of averages, isn't it? Regression to the mean, all that kind of stuff. It's very unusual for people to hit 2 absolutely phenomenal rounds like that back to back, isn't it?
It is true. And Kevin Na very slow again last week. He certainly hadn't sped up. I don't know whether this is going to be the year of Kevin Na. We've discussed this. I know I'm not your mum, but I would advise you to not be backing him every week. You know, this could be the year he goes the whole season without winning anything.
Okay, well, I'll stick with the experiment for the time being, but we'll see how we go. Did anyone else catch your eye last week?
I still think Elvis Schmidt is going to be a superstar. He just had a flat Friday and messed up the 12th hole in round 1. The next time he's competing in his homeland, I'll be very interested in backing Elvis Schmidt. As for Hideki, if Hideki's found the answer with the putter, it's a bit knee-jerk reaction from 1 week, but he putted lovely last week, didn't he? When Hideki Matsuyama putts well, he's one of the most dangerous players in the world.
I didn't watch any of it. Well, I say I didn't watch any of it. I watched some of it at civilized time, but I can't be staying up till 2 a.m.
No, it's not
anymore. It's just not worth it.
It's not
take
good
its toll on you.
Yeah. I mean, I can't remember the last time you had an Australia and Hawaii combo. I mean, I tried to follow both of them. Yeah, there were times where I just wake up on the sofa and have no idea what time it was. And it didn't feel good. On Monday I didn't feel great, but you learn stuff. You learn stuff from watching golf. You have to invest that time and energy.
Good for you. And one other little postscript from last week. I do think the Australian PGA website needs to buck its ideas up. I thought trying to follow on. I mean, it wasn't on Flash Score at all, which was very disappointing. And then the actual website itself had this pathetic sort of rubbishly presented semi-leaderboard with ads sticking all over it and all the text skewed all over the place. That took the gloss off the event for me. I don't know about you.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Yeah.
How did you follow it?
You watched it on the telly and then used the aforementioned website. Yeah, Flash Score was a little bit disappointing there, really.
I thought Flash Score's a brilliant site normally, but it came out short there. Never mind.
Yeah. I'll email them.
Okay, should we look ahoy to the upcoming week now?
I think we're good. We've got a lot to get through here.
We do indeed. Well, you've certainly curveballed me with the Singapore Open as well. Anyway, where should we start? Should we start with the Abu Dhabi?
Yes, I think we should start the Abu Dhabi. Yeah.
Yeah, I do as well. Right, it starts at 5 a.m. on Thursday. It's the Abu Dhabi HSBC Championship. And what a field we've got. These are guide prices. 15-2 Colin Morikawa, 8-1 Rory McIlroy, 10-1 Victor Hovland. There will be some people who won't even bother looking any further because I think, Christ, it's got to be one of those 3 wins it. But We have loads and loads of other players, headed by Shane Lowry and Tyrell Hatton, who are both 25. Tommy Fleetwood is 28. Adam Scott, 33. 35 bar. Don't forget to shop around for best prices, but also best place terms. Some bookmakers only offer 5 places. Others offer 8. A very important thing to factor in when it comes to choosing who you bet with. Okay, we're in Abu Dhabi, but I think it's a new venue, isn't it, Steve, with a very flash-sounding name.
Very much so, John. Yas Links, Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates. Abu Dhabi Golf Club has hosted for 16 years, but we're off to pastures new this week. 7,425 yards, par 72, 8 holes running directly along the coastline of the Arabian Gulf. A desert links created by Kyle Phillips, who has designed many European Tour venues: Kings Barnes, the Dundonald Links, the Grove, Verdura, Bernardes. So an exciting new venue for us, and half the tournament looks set to be played in strong winds.
Oh, blimey, all right. Does that mean a draw bias, or you mean like Thursday, Friday wins, weekend not? Or is it going to be windy in the morning and not in the afternoon, or vice versa?
I don't think it's going to be a draw bias. I think you get a calm Thursday, a windy Thursday afternoon. Sorry, calm Thursday morning, windy Thursday afternoon, windy Friday morning, very windy Friday afternoon. So I think the worst of the weather will be Friday afternoon, but they'll be out in the best of the weather on Thursday. So I think it's going to be okay.
Mind you, I mean, that's assuming that the forecaster's right. As it sounds like it could be a lottery. You could find yourself on the end of a bad draw here by the look of it.
Possibility.
I mean, with that in mind, Steve, would that tempt you to potentially hold fire with your bets? Obviously, you can't hold fire with your tips because you've got to tell your army of loyal followers who you fancy. But if you're actually having a bet, is it worth waiting until, the very latest you can to place your bets, given that it's so annoying, isn't it? If you have your bets, all of a sudden you find that the afternoon on one particular day is 6 shots worse than the morning.
Yeah. Just keep an eye on Windfinder. Keep an eye on all the various websites.
Windfinder? What's that?
Is that what it's called? What's that one I use? There's one called Windfinder in there. Is that the one I use? Yeah, I think it is called that. Yeah. But I'm not going to advise bets and not get involved myself. We're all in this together. We're all getting on today.
I know that. I'm just merely saying that with
the
weather, it's worth keeping an eye on, isn't it?
Yeah. Keep your ears and eyes and fingers open like that.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
Okay, right then. How many selections have you got?
4!
Excellent.
First one of the year. First 4 of the year, I believe.
Yeah, that was a good one, mate. Excellent. Right then, who is going to be your number one tip?
The number one selection at 7-1. I think it should be clear favourites. Colin Morikawa. I think it's the man to beat. Controlling your ball flight is in the breeze that over those first 2 days is the key skill this week. The fairway's quite generous. Approach shot's going to be tough though. Wind whipping across the track. Small targets. I'll take the best iron player in the game for that mission. Thank you very much. Morikawa turned up for the Open debut last summer. Links golf, seemingly a doddle for him. Gets his name on the claret jug at the first time of asking. A windy desert links is right up his alley. He's a Las Vegas resident now. His last trip to the Middle East, we'll never forget it, at the end of November. Saw him win the DP World Tour Championship and the race to Dubai. Final round 66, 3-shot victory. He started this year at the Century Tournament of Champions. Admitted he'd taken a lot of time off over Christmas. New driver in the bag. Nothing to worry about. Hit the ball beautifully. Closed with a 62 to finish 5th. Short game let him down a bit. First start of the year. I expect him to be much sharper on and around the greens this week. And this looks another great chance to become world number one. Yeah, there's no coming over to an Abu Dhabi Championship lacking motivation. Morikawa is so close to becoming world number one for the first time. Highly motivated.
And of course, when he won in November in the desert, he hunted down Rory, didn't he?
Very much so, John. Very much so. Yeah. I was surprised he wasn't clear favourite this week.
That's another thing we agreed not to do this year. You say very much so, John, because we still get people saying, why does Steve call you John?
I'm sorry, I got a lot to raise my game on.
So much to remember. No, you're doing fine, mate. We just don't want to confuse people. That's it. And just to reiterate, that was Graham Taylor used to, when he was commentating with John Champion in the World Cup, he used to say very much so, John. And so we've just always carried on saying it in the childish way we do.
Well, it's paying homage to a man that we adore, isn't it?
So.
We must never forget Graham Taylor. It's horrible what he went through as England manager, but we love him, and that love. Hopefully, it's some of his family members are watching this. That love will never end.
Do you know? Apparently, when they showed the Graham Taylor documentary a couple of months ago on TV, they cut out all the swearing, which I think is ridiculous.
Really?
I mean, I wouldn't say the swearing made it, but it highlighted the kind of stark reality of the job, didn't it?
What time was
I mean,
that?
when he when he says, "Goal, Les, hit Les over the top," beep, you know, you can't do that, can you?
Well, when was it broadcast? I mean, we're all adults. It was after the watershed. Is the watershed still
exactly? Yeah, it was. And what annoys me, right, is that, you know, you get a football commentary and you go, "Oh, I'm sorry if, you know, you heard someone say wee or something like that." But then you turn on like one of these trendy chat shows with Jonathan Ross or, you know, someone from the in-betweeners, and they're effing and jeffing left, right and centre, and everyone's giggling away. I don't know. It just seems like one rule for one and one rule for the other, doesn't it?
Well, it does rather, yeah. I mean, I don't like diluting products, do you?
No, not really, unless it's cordial. If I buy some Vimto, I do dilute it, but it's meant to be, isn't it? But that's about it.
Yeah.
Okay, number two tip.
Minwoo Lee. We said we were going to wait for a chance to back him a decent. 33-1. Minwoo Lee, a great wind player. He was born in Perth. I used to live there. Take it from me, it's very windy in Perth. Lee honed his technique in the wind from an early age. He's got all the shots you need to survive in a breeze. So those first 2 days, no fear for him. He won his maiden European Tour title in a windy Vic Open in 2020. Then he won the Scottish Open last summer, showing his links credentials. He's shown a liking for these Middle East events, 4th in the Saudi International, 4th in the Dubai Championship. And he's had the advantage of a 2022 pipe opener. He played last week in the Aussie PGA, finished 4th. Morikawa and Lee have already got the Christmas rust out of their system. They're the best bets for this.
If you'd stayed in Perth, do you think, and grown up in Australia, because you only spent a year or so out there before you came back to Weymouth, if you'd stayed out there, do you ever wonder how your life would have panned out?
Yeah, I think I might have become a cricketer, actually, because I got really good at cricket over there, and potentially would have become a cricketer. Yeah, it would have been a very different life to the one I got now. A lot of outside rather than being in the shed all the time. So yeah, I don't know whether that would have been a better life or a worse life. You mustn't have these thoughts. You know, you get what you're given, don't you?
You certainly do. It could be a lot worse, couldn't it?
It could.
Right,
yeah.
We've got Morikawa, we've got Minwoo Lee, and we've got
two more at big prices. Rafa Cabrera-Bello hasn't played yet in 2022, but he lives in Dubai, which is a massive advantage in itself because most players have had a huge journey to get to this tournament. Cabrera-Bello hasn't. They've got plenty of practice in at the venue. I suspect he loves it. He won the 2017 Scottish Open at the Dundonald Links, a Kyle Phillips design. His second of 4 European Tour titles came in the Dubai Desert Classic. He's got a great desert record generally. He was 4th in the Abu Dhabi Championship last year. And his tail is well and truly up. He won the Spanish Open in October.
I remember that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I
can't forget that.
He's got his confidence.
Snail. He got that relief, cheated that. Well, he didn't cheat, but he flexed the rules to the limit, didn't he, to get that relief? And it took ages. Ugh.
He's on our team this week, so we don't want to take him down. Yeah. Courageous victory. And
very wisely used his course management skills.
That's what the rules are there for, make them work.
Absolutely.
And he was buzzing after that. Had all his family and friends there, and he's really got a confidence boost from winning that. So I think Cabrera-Bello, he builds on that with another strong performance this week.
Nice. And who's your other long shot?
Last one is Wacom Lagergran. Opened up at 200-1, and I was getting very excited. You can still get 150-1. Lagergran loves a Kyle Phillips design. He always contends in the Dunhill Links Championship. We always back him for the Dunhill Links Championship. Kings Barnes is, of course, used there. He won the 2018 Sicilian Open at Vadura, a Phillips design with great similarities to Yas Links. He lost the playoff for the Qatar Masters in 2017. Eye-catching form, windy Middle East track. Yas Links, spectacularly Lagergran's cup of tea. I can completely understand why he's being backed. I think anything 3 figures is worthwhile.
Okay, let's have a chat about the other two at the head of the market. Rory McIlroy, what's the negative about him? Why is he not on the list?
First start of the year, his last visit to the Middle East, as you say, ended in absolute heartbreak. I mean, he ripping his shirt off in anger. Not a
Did
big.
He? What, like the Incredible Hulk?
Yeah. You must have missed the pictures of that. But after he threw that tournament away, when we were on him, we might have been ripping stuff as well. But there's a picture of him on his phone with his shirt in tatters. Wow. He couldn't really. He lost his plot there. But that wasn't a long time ago, and he's up against if he's going up against Morikawa again on Sunday, it's in the old noggin, I think. But accuracy on approach, I think, is most important this week. You'd back Morikawa over McIlroy all day long on that. Controlling ball flight in the wind, Morikawa over McIlroy.
Victor
McIlroy at Abu Dhabi Golf Club, great record. Emirates, Earth Course. He's got that history of success there, but Yaslinks, he obviously hasn't. Hovland loves Paspalum grass. We've got Paspalum grass fairways here, so you have to respect him. But it's been an untidy start to the year. His clubs got lost in transit from Oslo to the Century Tournament of Champions. He was going over there early to practice before the Century. He was using his caddy's clubs because he just wanted to swing anything. His clubs didn't arrive till very, very late. He ended up finishing 30th of 38 in the Century. So I didn't like that start to the year for Hovland. I think he'll like this course and get going again soon, but I just prefer Morikawa of those three. And then if you want to talk others to note, the aforementioned others to note, we probably need to discuss some, don't we?
No, we don't.
No,
There's no
save
point.
them for the paper. All right,
save them for the paper or the website. Yeah, check them out.
Sure.
Check them out. Exactly.
Sure.
Right then, well done, Steve. That was the Abu Dhabi HSBC Championship. Let's switch to America. The American Express, that's all it's called. That tees off at noon on Thursday at La Quinta, Palm Springs, California. Beautiful. That's another one, Steve. That joins the list of golf courses I've been to and never played. I went to a music festival in Palm Springs and we stayed at La Quinta, but didn't get to play it. I had a little wander around it. And it's beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. But,
who was playing, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, it was actually country music, which isn't my thing at all. But someone said, "Oh, do you fancy it? It's, you don't have to be that into it, And
Dolly Parton.
Garth Brooks was playing. He's the most famous one.
Garth Brooks.
No, Garth Brooks. You must have heard of Garth Brooks.
No, I haven't.
I wish Garth Brooks was playing at the US Country Music Festival, but no, sadly no. He's probably picking his best 11 from the weekend for the BBC website. Anyway, high quality field. Let's have a look at the betting. Big Johnny Rahm 13-2. Patrick Cantley at 9-1. Scotty Scheffler is 20. Sun Jae 22. Tony Finau 22. Corey Connors 25 and 30 bar. Before we get into anything else, a quick word on Connors. He's always very short in the betting for a bloke who's never actually done much in terms of winning, isn't he? I mean, I know he's always there or thereabouts, but
consistent operator, very consistent operator. That putter will never, be prolific, will he? He's always going to struggle on the greens. I think it's not easy to find the answer. You're either a good putter or a bad putter. I don't think he's going to find the answer to that, but respect him.
Let's get the course guide first. I've given you my course guide. It was nice wandering around on the fairways after a country music festival. That doesn't really help, does it? Tell us more.
Well, we've got 3 courses. We must stress we've got 3 courses in play over the first 3 days. There's a Pro-Am event again. Last year it wasn't a Pro-Am because of COVID reasons, but we're back to normal now. So we've got the TPC Stadium course at PGA West, staging 2 of the rounds, Nicholas Tournament course at PGA West, and La Quinta Country Club aforementioned. So the cut's made after 3 rounds, and then the final round at the Stadium course. All 3 tracks similar yardage, around 7,100 yards, all par 72. Stadium course traditionally the most difficult, then the Nicklaus course. La Quinta, where you like watching Dolly Parton and co. Scoring is always extremely low there. That's the one where you have to make a good score.
Okay, fair enough. Bear in mind that in play as well. So when you go onto the PGA app, if you see that someone's already played their round at La Quinta, they've sort of played their joker, so to speak. So that's well worth bearing in mind. Okay, with that in mind, Steve, how many selections have we got?
3 selections.
Okay. Are you going to go for one from the front row in countdown parlance?
I am.
Go on then.
It's Patrick Cantlay at 9-1. We're keeping faith with Patrick Cantlay, the FedEx Cup champion, the 2021 PGA Tour Player of the Year. He took 3 months off after a fantastic Ryder Cup debut, counting his money, fully recharging his batteries. 2 weeks of intense practice at Kapalua before the Century Tournament of Champions. During those sessions, his coach Jamie Mulligan said he'd never seen Cantlay hit the ball better. Cantlay himself said he had never felt more excited about practice than he did at Kapalua. Because that time off he had, it built like an intense desire to get back in action. He was level par through 8 holes of the Century, so made a slow start, finished the event 26 under par. With his short game not purring, it wasn't sharp at all. So much like Morikawa in the Century, ball striking absolutely superb, short game lacking sharpness in first start of the year. I think the 2 Californians, Morikawa and Cantlay, improve around the greens this week and become the men to beat. Cantlay's teeing up in his home state. La Quinta is a 2-hour car journey from where Canterlay was born. He loves competing in California. He's dazzled in this particular event. His last 2 American Express starts, 9th in 2019, runner-up last year. You must remember when he closed with a 61 and almost buggered up our Siwoo Kim bet. Closed with a 61 at the stadium course, and Siwoo Kim just managed to repel him by 1 shot. Oh, I thought that was long odds on to be in there. See, we backed Siwoo Kim at the start of last year. God, it's getting so hot in here. I must turn this heater off.
Okay.
I could almost not breathe there. It gets so stuffy when the heater's been on for a while. But then it gets cold. It gets cold when it's off. I mean,
it seems very hard to regulate the heating in this shed.
It's enormously difficult because it's so small. You're either cold or it's stuffy. You know. Yeah.
Has it got windows?
Yeah, but you open them, it'd be cold in this weather. I mean, this is why
it's really nippy at the moment, isn't it? It's lovely. Have you had these lovely sunny, still cold winter days we've been enjoying in the capital?
Yeah, there's nothing quite like them, is there?
Gorgeous. You've been out for a nice walk with the family at all?
No, played glow in the dark crazy golf on Saturday. That was good. Yeah, glow in the dark crazy golf.
What do you mean glow in the dark? What glows?
The sort of the rough, I suppose you could call it. The rough. Yeah, the metal bars were glowing in the dark. So you go into a dark room and all you can see is your putter, your shoes go a funny colour, and then the rough and the ball.
What about your balls? Do they glow?
Yeah, your balls glow.
And the hole.
Yeah, and the hole, yeah.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, it was good. I got a spectacular hole in one on the last hole, and nobody was watching, and I was furious. I almost went down to the fella and said, "You've got any CCTV in there? Because I'd like a copy."
Night vision goggles.
I wanted a copy of me hole in one, but he didn't seem that friendly a guy, so I didn't bother.
God, I mean, if you're working in a glow in the dark putting green, you've got to have something about you, haven't you? You can't have a grumpy, miserable person doing that job, can you?
No, he was a bit unkempt and he was a bit unfriendly, but we've all got our problems. Who knows what's happened to him? He might have been born as an orphan or something. He might have had something terrible happen to him. It's not easy.
True. Yeah, I know.
It's an unfair start, isn't it? If you see someone who's horrible to you, someone's probably been very horrible to him.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying that, you're in the entertainment industry. You wouldn't go to Disneyland and then when you're queuing up at, one of these magic rides that there's some sort of miserable person. Oh, wait, queue up. No, leave social distance. You don't want that, do you? You want someone jolly and enjoying the customer experience.
Probably a pretty outlandish request, though, isn't it? Demanding the CCTV just because you've got a hole in one. To be fair.
No, that is true. That would have made me a little grumpy. Anyway, so we're going with Cantley.
We're going with Cantley.
And then you've got 2 others, haven't you? Who's the first of them?
The next best is Adam Hadwin at 80-1. Former President's Cup star. He's twice made the internationals team. He's won twice on what is now the Corn Ferry Tour. In 2014, he won the 2017 Valspar Championship, his only PGA Tour victory to date, and he's come mightily close to a second PGA Tour victory in the American Express. He absolutely adores this tournament. From 2016 onwards, we've had pretty much the same rota of courses because they used to have all different ones. 2016 onwards been pretty much the same, and Hadwin's form figures are 6-2, 3-2, 32.
No way! That's extraordinary.
Great course form, isn't it?
I've got to admit, right, sometimes, Steve, when you say, right, his record since then is, and it's like 32, 28, 16, 9, I'm like, that's not much use to you. But the Hadwin form figures are spectacular, aren't they?
They are. And I prefer players who have had a 2022 outing already, as discussed. But Hadwin finished second in the 2017 edition of this tournament in his first start of the year. And he fired a third round 59.
Goodness me.
So I've no worries about him being ready for this. And that 59, it's important to note, that 59 came at La Quinta Country Club. Last year, they took La Quinta off the rota because in the COVID times, they wanted to contain everyone at PGA West. So that 32nd place that he got last year was without his opportunity at La Quinta. So that Hadwin's last 4 tournaments where La Quinta's been in play have yielded results of 6-2, 3-2. So spectacular course form, signs of life at the end of last year, 6th place in the Shriners in October. He loves desert golf. He lives in the desert now. He lives in Arizona. Yeah, really exciting bet this week, Adam Hadwin.
I love the idea that he lives in the desert.
Yeah, he lives like a
sort of tent. Yeah, he made himself a camp. Yeah. Okay. Brilliant. And finally,
Andrew Putnam. I would advise punters
Wow,
to
he's a
take
new
the
name to the tipping sheet. Is this the first time you've ever tipped Andrew
No,
Putnam?
no. When conditions are right, I think we've had him a couple of times. But I want punters to take the 125 to 1 with loads of each way places. There's bigger prices out there with less each way places, but I think 125 to 1 getting 8 each way places is a great bet. Neat and tidy player. He lacks driving distance, but it doesn't matter in the American Express. Look at the honours board. We've had Mark Wilson win this, Brian Gay win this, Jason Duffner, Adam Long, Andrew Landry. This is a plodder's paradise because they're all short courses. If you can putt well, you've got a chance. Putnam typically putts well. Amex form figures of 17, 34, 10, 21. And that 10th place was his best finish of 2020. Last year, he really got his act together. 4 top 8 finishes on the PGA Tour, including a runner-up effort in the Barracuda Championship. He won the Barracuda in 2018, so he's won twice on what is now the Corn Ferry Tour. He's won once on the PGA Tour. And last week, Sony Open, lovely warm-up. New caddy on board, 4 rounds in the 60s.
Oh, that's it, is it?
Yeah, I felt like I'd said enough.
you normally sort of just like, just you come to a nice steady conclusion.
Yeah,
I know to jump in. Okay, well, let's hope he's putting them into the hole from all angles then. We better touch upon Big Johnny Rahm. Why have you deserted him this week?
Well, he won it in 2018. He was 6th in 2019. He's not played it since. I just think driver is Rahm's best weapon, and you don't really need driver here. 3 very short tracks, and hot putting is essential in this tournament. It's always 20 something under par wins this. Rahm has these little flat spots with the putter. I don't like him at a short price, but I do like Cantley at short price, more reliable on the greens, I think.
Righty ho. Okay, well, we better look at this Singapore Open. You'll have to tell me all about it because you caught me cold here. I don't know who's in it, when it is, or anything. I presume it's in Singapore.
Yeah, I mean, I've caught a few people cold on this. I've caught the bookmakers cold, really. They're very slow to price it up. We always record this show at 10 a.m. on Tuesdays. Only Bet365 are up with the odds at the moment. By the end of today, you should have a more appealing market. There's 131 players in it. I make it a 3-runner affair, so I am excited, but they're short prices. So we're at Serapong Golf Course. The Serapong course at Sentosa Golf Club, 7,403 yards, par 71, hosted since 2005. It's the toughest course being used this week in Planet Golf, and certainly the weakest field. You usually get a few overseas stars come over to this, which is why I put it on our golf plan. But we haven't got many overseas stars this time.
Well, we've got one, haven't we? We've got Ryder Cup, haven't we? 12-5 favourite.
We jolly well have got one. Yeah. 12-5 favourite. I'm hopeful we're going to get bigger. He's the class act of the field. Paul Casey's the class act of this field. Former world number 3, 3-time PGA Tour champion, 15-time European Tour champion. 2 of those European Tour wins came in China. He also won the 2011 Korean Open. He does like to come over to Asia, pick up an easy victory in a weak field. He could easily do it again this week if he's in the right frame of mind for it.
And the second favourite, Steve, is someone called Ju Hyung Kim. Then the third favourite is Sadom Kawukanjana. And then Bio Kim is 4th favourite. I mean, Casey's only got to turn up to win. He could win this with a 7-iron and a putter, couldn't he?
I like the way you're thinking. And Casey got a lot of stick for his Ryder Cup performance. I think it's important to note he played 4 matches in the Ryder Cup, but all against top opposition. He couldn't have had a tougher draw really in the Ryder Cup. He had Johnson and Morikawa first up, Johnson and Shafele second, Johnson and Morikawa again, and then Johnson in the singles. Johnson was the star of that Ryder Cup. Casey didn't get a point. He partnered 2 rookies over in his first 2 matches. So I would disregard the Ryder Cup. He ended last year with 9th place in the DP World Tour Championship, and he's got his regular caddy. We've discussed this before. His caddy, John McLaren. He's looking to ease his workload. He's got some, he wants to improve his mental health. But from what I can gather, he's got his regular caddy with him until March. From March, McLaren's taking a 6-month break in March, and then he's going to decide whether to call it a day or not, or whether he's going to retire. So, I think Casey's keen to get one more win alongside John McLaren before McLaren potentially retires. So I think Casey's going to come up for this. And as you say, he's the class of the field. And there's only 2 players I think are capable of beating him.
Okay, fine. So he's the only selection, presumably, is he?
Well. Yeah. I mean, with this triple header, which always excites me, there's lots of opportunities for trebles.
And doubles.
and doubles. So I am urging. I'm gonna name 3 selections, and you can do what you like with them. And yeah, I know. So we've got Canterlay and Morikawa, obviously reasonably short prices in their 2 tournaments. Throw Casey into that for a 271 to 1.
Oh, what? I've got it out. I've got it down as 288 to 1, Steve.
Have you? 9 to 1, 7 to 1. 9 to 1, 7 to 1,
15 to 2, 12 to 5.
9 to 1, 7 to 1.
I've got 15 to 2.
You found some Morikawa 15 to 2, have you?
Yeah.
Oh, well done. Well done. Well, there you go.
365 and 9 to 1 Cantley, 15 to 2 Morikawa, and 12 to 5 Casey. And that treble pays 288 to 1.
Well, that's great news. They bet 265 just eased Morikawa to 15 to 2 to enhance that bet. And as I say,
got a bad draw.
We'll have a look at that in a sec.
Okay.
I think he can overcome any draw, Morikawa. But the thing is, I think be patient on that bet, because I think some better Casey prices may come in. So keep an eye out. So yeah, the other 2 players I think that can beat Casey, the only 2 players I have any concern about are the aforementioned Ju Hyun Kim, fast improving Korean. He won the Singapore International last week. Looks a beast of a player. 2 wins on the Asian Development Tour, 2 wins on the Korean Tour, now off the mark on the Asian Tour last week. He's only 19. I think we found the new Sung Jae-im. So this could easily turn into Casey versus Kim, the world number 27 against a rising star. And then the other one I liked is Pachara Kongwat Mai, a former prodigy. He won a pro event at the age of 14. He won twice on the Asian Development Tour in 2015. And he's still only 22. He made his Asian Tour breakthrough finally last week, just before Christmas. He won the Phuket Championship. He just decided, fuck it, I'm going to win on the Asian Tour now. It'd been a long time coming, and he's got off the mark on the Asian Tour. And he was 16th in the Singapore International last week. So Casey Kim Kongwat Mai.
Where is Kongwat Mai?
Pachara Kongwat Mai. Yeah.
Where is he? What price is he? I can't find him.
He's very deep in Bet365 betting. I astonishingly deep. I suspect an error. So I'm going to wait until
I still can't find him. I'm down to the 200 to 1s.
Yeah, you'll find him at 140 to 1, I believe. Right. It's an astonishing price.
Oh yeah, Kongwat Mai. Yeah.
It's an astonishing price. I think when the markets unfold, those are the 3 to concentrate on. So we got 10 selections across 3 tournaments.
Right, well, we better recap then, hadn't we? Let's start off with the 4 in the Abu Dhabi Championship.
Collin Morikawa, Minwoo Lee, Rafa Cabrera Bell, Joaquim Lagergren.
American Express.
Patrick Cantlay, Adam Hadwin, Andrew Putnam.
And in the Singapore Open,
Paul Casey, Jung Hyun Kim, Pachara Kongwat Mai.
Okay, excellent. Right then, so presumably you're going to advocate a very small stakes each way treble on your main 3 selections, are you? Morikawa, Cantlay and Casey?
I've done it win only. Yeah, it's a bit bold, but yeah, I suppose you can do an each way treble on that. Also, of course, we must advertise the straight Cantlay Morikawa double. I mean, that's healthy. 79,
85 to 1 with the.
Oh, there you go. Sorry, yeah. So I mean, that's glorious, absolutely glorious. So I do like that a lot. Yeah. So I think this is a really exciting week. Yeah, the triple header always gets me going, and we just need a few more bookies to get going on this Singapore Open. I don't know why they're being so slow.
But if it does go badly, Steve, have you had a little word with yourself and preempted that and thought, well, look, if it does blow out, whether it's by a disastrous miscut or a heartbreak last green tiddler that goes by, will you try and remain calm?
Yeah. I was quite impressed. I think the Sony Open last week couldn't have gone much worse. Our players bombing out, and then the 3 that were closest to selection being bang in there. So I don't think tournaments can get much worse than that. So I'm really determined to stay serene. Yeah, don't you worry about that.
Okay, what have you got lined up between now and next Tuesday when we meet again?
Tommy Tiger's into darts now. It's a bit too cold for golf at the moment, so we're playing darts. We went to the pub on Sunday and played darts. I think I got a little cut here actually, where he got me with the dart. But he loves it. Yeah, he loves darts. So
is he using soft tip darts or the real?
No. He stands on a chair. I put the chair next to the dartboard, and he puts it behind his head, and he goes boom. My biggest concern is him scraping his eye on the way through, or it bouncing back to him. But I'm on red alert as he's doing it, and then if I see one deflect, I'll get in there and stop it. I'll take a hand injury to protect his face. Yeah, I was getting a few looks in there on Sunday. I must admit.
I think you were. Was there sort of old Jack and Ted sitting at the table just near the darts board? Did they scarper over to the other side?
Fortunately, there was some youths. It's Saturday actually. When were Man United playing Aston Villa on the live on? It was Saturday night, wasn't it? Yeah. There was some youths. Well, I call them youths. 20-somethings, I suppose, watching that, and then a dart could have deflected into them, but they looked sort of like Jack the Lad type characters who would have found it funny. So if I'd had if there was an old fella there, I would have respected him more. But these lads look like they were up for a bit of
getting a dart embedded in your temple is funny.
Yeah, they look like
a 2-year-old.
Yeah, they look like they were having a good time, and that they would have found that funny. You know what lads are like? They like the bants, don't they? Yeah, dart in the eye.
They certainly do. Does that mean he swapped golf for darts now, or is it just a winter thing? Is he going off golf?
His coach told me it was his coach. His coach advised me that it's not a good idea to take them out at this age in the cold, because then they hate golf. They associate
I rate that.
the pain of the driving range.
Yeah.
You can't go out there in -2 and say, "Come on, mate, another 100 balls."
No.
Then they hate golf and they hate you.
Yeah.
Just while it's this cold, we're playing darts. He might be a genius darts player. So we'll see how we go with that. Yeah.
You've got to try every possibility, haven't you? I mean, if you look at Raducanu, her parents, she was into all sorts when she was a kid, and then they finally decided on tennis. But I mean, she could have excelled in all sorts of sports. So this is a subject close to my heart, and it's a really tough one to decide on, because if you want your son to be the next Tiger Woods, do you follow the Earl Woods way, which was to ban him from playing any other sports? And then poor old Tiger Woods wanted to play soccer, as they call it over in America, and he asked his dad if he could play soccer, and his dad didn't let him. And he just had to entirely focus on golf, no soccer, no girlfriends, get on the blimmin' driving range, and all the sort of way his life has unfurled a little bit since then. His relationship with women is questionable. His relationship with I'm getting at. So I mean, don't force anything onto kids. Absolutely not. Let them want to do stuff.
Yeah, no, I'm going to let him try all sports and see what he's good at.
I think that's a good shout. Okay, Steve. Right. Well, next week we have got the Dubai Desert Classic and the Farmers Insurance. So plenty to look at next week. But in the meantime, 3 great tournaments. As we've said, you can go onto racingpost.com or buy the Racing Post newspaper tomorrow for Steve's full thoughts. We've got stats. We've got the price comparison grid, so you can find out where the best value is. Loads and loads in there. So check those out. Bet safely, bet responsibly, and hopefully you can join us next Tuesday for another Sweet Spot.